come back. Shadow is still walking around, calling around us, but it just was such a beautiful shot of young Sindile sitting on top of that big termite mound, beautiful chloris grass in front of his face, lovely late afternoon African light coming through. Remember, you're with us on a live African safari, and if you want to ask us any questions, use the tag Safari Live on Twitter. And remember, tomorrow is Father's Day. If you want to send a shout out to your dad on Nat Geo Wild, remember to get those things through on hashtag Safari Live. Okay, so we're going to try to catch up with that female again. She's there, hoping we can find her, finding her latest cub's carcass, but that is a possibility. Hi Adala, welcome on the back of the safari vehicle. Dala's saying how awesome it must be to hear this meow of a large leopard. Strangely enough, Dala, a meow is one of the only sounds leopard can't make. They've got a very different type of bone in their neck compared to a domestic cat. So a domestic cat has a solid hyoid bone, and that's where they create their vocalizations, and they go meow. But leopard has an elastic cartilaginous hyoid bone that vibrates, and that's how they're able to get that deep, deep, deep noise we're hearing. Now, if you had to describe the way a leopard calls, someone sawing wood, and when they do a full roar, it's sort of a I'm just trying to turn around. There's some big stumps that might give us a flat tire. Of course, we do change a few tires following these animals through the bush. Okay, there we go. It looks like we managed to get out of that tricky spot. I just want to see where that female's going, but while we go have a look, I'm just going to go around behind the young male. Remember, there are other people out here. Whoopsie, watch out, Vim. Cameraman yet. Come close a few times. Might get a really cool little sneak peek of the young male from the back of this termite area. And there you can see the shadow of our vehicles as we sneak around. There we go. There he is, still lying there. She's come back actually, but we'll look at him first. And there we go. You can see that satellite collar there, as I was explaining earlier. He unfortunately caught a rabid dog and had to go away into quarantine. Now, very unusual behavior we're seeing here. That's because he's come back after being gone for so many months, and she's already had other cubs, so he's probably quite confused. He thinks she's calling for him, so he keeps answering, but she keeps attacking him, growling at him, chasing him away, because she's actually calling for the next generation, another cub. But there is a strong possibility that that cub could have been killed by this young male. It is all very complex out here in the African bush. So especially, oh, listen to her, she's still calling. Now we've got a really interesting question from Tony, and especially with all the vocalization we're hearing at the moment, it's really relevant. Tony would like to know, do leopards ever make warning calls for their cubs? They do, Tony. Normally they'll growl at something that's threatening the cubs, and that will sort of be cue for the cubs to make a disappearing act. But leopards often are forced to leave their cubs alone at a time while they go hunting, and that's when those cubs normally get killed. So she will leave them in a sort of safe place. At this age, the cubs can climb, but when something like that is going after them, he can climb as well. So a really, really difficult situation for this female leopard, and I really feel for her, and I'm really hoping that cub survived. But while we see what plays on here, let's go back to Steph who's marching through the African bush.